Did you know here in Kenya, research has shown that only 98% of all bank accounts held by Kenyans, they all have less than 100,000 shillings, meaning that Kenyans have, for lack of a better word, a queer savings culture. Some decide, let's not save, let me just reinvent the money, perhaps in business, stocks, shares. That is exactly what we are going to be discussing or focusing today, and I'm joined by Sam Sambu, who is an investment expert. Good afternoon, Sam, and thank you so much indeed for coming.
Good afternoon, and thank you for affording us this opportunity.
Well, Kenyans don't seem to be saving much. What are the common platforms for Kenyans to invest if I'm not saving at least my money, perhaps in a fixed deposit account or something?
Well, we must start by understanding that saving has not been preached as a good culture the way we have been talking about many other things. Everyone knows that for some reason I need to save, but and of course at some point we have tried to save. We have those pillow banks, we have chamas as a way of saving, others have gone into cooperative societies. But you realize that the bigger chunk of people still do not understand and still have a challenge in fathoming what are the best mechanisms for achieving your goal. It's all about achieving your goals. You have to have a goal. Why are you saving? You cannot just save because you're saving. There has to be a reason for saving. And this reason for saving is what now propels you into saving and determines which vehicle you need to use or to utilize for your particular goal. I want to give you a good example. If I was saving for a car, for example, or for a house, the channels that I'll use for saving for that particular goal would be different as opposed to if I was saving for a rainy day with some money for maybe emergency. And therefore we are saying that it all starts by you as an individual starting where you are, having a clear goal of what you want to achieve, then coming up with a plan of how do I want to achieve it. Of course, we are blessed in Kenya. We have various industry leaders, organizations that provide very good investment vehicles that are available. The issue of whether they are accessible to the people, I don't think that is a challenge. I think it's just a matter of awareness, and of course, the economy performance matters as well.
And of course, a lot of Kenyans choose to save with saccos as opposed to commercial banks. Why is this? Of course, Kenya has a robust and actually we are one of the best in Africa, and we rank highly. I think it's top 10 in the whole world. Our sacco movement is very, very robust. Why do Kenyans opt for saccos as opposed to commercial banks?
It has to do with issues that we can trace back historically from when saccos started. You will realize that saccos have been with us for the longest, and as such have become a vehicle for that is known, that is the awareness is a lot about sacco. From all the way pre-colonial era, when we were talking about matter sacco from 1908 to when the government took a first approach into to formalizing saccos in 1931, all the way up to now, saccos have become a vehicle that is easily accessible. And you know what happens when one person tests something and feels like this something is good, the word spreads. People have had issues with some banks. You remember the economies of the 90s, then the 80s, and some of the banks going down with depositors' funds. And sacco being kind of managed locally by the membership that is accessible and is known by the sacco members, I think the issue of trust has come to play. However, we must say that sacco is not the only way to save. It is a way of saving, but as I said earlier, it depends with your goals for saving. It's just one vehicle for saving.
Indeed, and Kenya has hundreds, if not thousands, of sacco societies. We've seen some mushroom and then shrivel up and wind up. What are some of the factors that someone should look for in a sacco society before joining?
I'm perturbed by the number of saccos that go down sometimes, and they go down in a very acrimonious way. and sometimes they resort even to physical fights. We have seen in this country a couple of years ago people marching into some sacco offices and demanding their money. It's worrying. And thank you for that question, because then therefore we need to address the issue of why are they coming down. One of the reasons why they come down is issues of corporate governance. And the government has tried at some point when they did a review of the Cooperative Societies Act and brought in the Cooperative Tribunal and tried also to intervene and to make sure that there is audited books of account, but there's still much more to that than just that. I have been a member of saccos that today, I don't want to mention names, they're fighting in courts. Why? Corporate governance issues. So anytime you want to invest, and not only in a sacco, any investment, the integrity of the people who are leading that particular organization where you're going to save your money is more important than anything else that you consider, because minus the integrity of the person, you could as well be throwing away money.
Yes, and we have seen a lot of Kenyans warm up to the idea of investing in shares. The Nairobi Securities Exchange has been quite robust, looking at including perhaps ranking in Africa. What are some of the pros and cons of investing in at the NSE?
Our NSE is ranked, if I'm not wrong, about the 4th in Africa, and is a robust market. But again, awareness issue come back to bite it, because it is a very good vehicle for personal investment, corporate investment, organization investment. But how accessible is it to, especially the retail investors, is where the problem is. A few years ago, when the country started rolling out IPOs, you remember there were queues in Nairobi of people who were lining to get a piece of the companies that were being listed. That kind of propelled people and, so to speak, investors into investing in shares. But after some time, when the market was not performing very well and some shares went down and there was no real good engagement and information about why you should invest in shares for long term and not just for short term, you saw suave people getting out of share markets and leaving corporate investors alone. Investment in shares throughout the world is one of the best investments around. However, it is again aligned to your financial goals. Why are you investing in this particular share? You have to ask yourself, am I going in for a short term, for long term, for capital growth, for dividends, or I'm just buying because I've been told to buy? There are so many companies listed at the Nairobi Stock Exchange. You have to have a reason why you are picking company A and not company B. And that has to be analyzed based on also your financial risk appetite and financial goal.
What are some of the things that you should look out for when it comes to shares? You know, there are so many companies. We've seen some being listed and then delisted. So as a person who is green in NSE, what can you advise somebody who wants to invest in the NSE? What exactly should he or she look out for?
One, you have to look at the strength of the company you're investing in. What do they do? Do they have a product they sell? Do they have a service they offer? And from your own personal judgment, even without going into analyst or anybody else, whatever service that company offers, in your opinion, do you feel like this is a service that is going to be there for long term, or this is a product that is going to be there for long term, or is it just a short term product? After that, you also have to look at the leadership of that company. I mean, there are people who have a history of leading companies that have done very well, and you can bet on them that if they pick company X, chances are that it's going to do very well. Again, the reverse is true. So you also have to look at the leadership of the company that you're investing in, the management. Who are the managers? Who are the people going to be charged with multiplying your coin, making sure that your coin is safe, making sure that what you've put there can be found there tomorrow and is going only to grow?
Indeed, and that's perhaps why we saw when we have the IPOs, some companies just record huge turnouts. But anyway, a lot of Kenyans have decided to invest in land, not necessarily to later construct, but for even speculative buying, where perhaps you buy a 500,000 shillings or a 200,000 shillings plot of land, and perhaps in a couple of years you can sell that at a higher value.
I want to tell you something that it is amazing that as one Bitange demo once said, that is a 50 by 100 mentality. That
yes.
And it speaks about people's awareness about investment. The money to be invested in, somehow you can say it's there, but where to be invested is the big issue.
Yes.
And so the whole idea of I must invest in a plot, I must invest in a land. I mean, the people who have bought these hyped 50 by 100 plots that today, if you ask them to show you where that plot is, they cannot even show you. They don't even know. They were just ferried from Nairobi to some place. They were shown somewhere and they paid. But, I mean, that is speculation. When you are investing, you have to decide, am I investing as a speculator, whereby I'm just putting money, hoping that it will grow tomorrow and I'll be able to harvest my money back? Or am I investing my money because I believe in this investment channel and it will give me returns, it will be there tomorrow, it is secure, it's accessible, and more so, let me tell you what sometimes we forget to consider is the ability of converting that particular investment into liquid cash. I want to tell you, there are times I've seen people who have massive assets, in form of land, in form of whatever you call an asset. Wait until they have a short-term need for some small liquid cash, and they cannot liquidate that chunk of land because of a small amount of money. And even when they want to liquidate that chunk of land, how fast do you get a client to buy is another story.
Indeed, and of course, land has, in Kenya, we have a lot of issues when it comes to land, but unfortunately, we are out of time. But thank you so much indeed, Sam Sambu, an investment expert, shedding light on the investment opportunities that one can look at, and especially now that we have a battered economy because of COVID-19. And of course, you have to look at the two things that he has talked about. Is it short-term? Is it long-term? And indeed, how hard will it be to liquidate that kind of investment?